Let's crochet a sunflower granny square bag. For this pattern, you will need 13 granny squares. I'm using these beautiful sunflower granny squares. They're a sunburst pattern, but you can use any granny squares that suit you. Here are the granny squares all laid out into our pattern for the bag. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect these rows together so that they all connect. And then these side ones here, they actually will fold over and connect to the other side down here. Same with this one and our bottom one here. So it's just going to be folded. And what we're going to do after is we flip this over and we connect along the sides to create the bag. So let's get into it. To connect your granny squares, you can use whatever method you would like. Often I will use a slip stitch or a single crochet. My client that I'm making this bag for has requested it to be a little bit larger. So we're actually going to do a double row of our granny clusters here. But you're welcome to do whatever works best for you. And if you even wanted to do the join as you go method like I will be doing today, you could just do it with your single row on the outside. That's how I would normally make my bags. To do a join as you go method, the first thing you're going to do on your first granny square, it doesn't matter which one you use, is create that extra row. So if you're doing just one row for your bag, then you exclude the second one and you would just do your square granny clusters just like this. Okay, I've already done that here. So I've gone around, I've crocheted my granny clusters all around this square. So now what I'm going to do to connect these two is first I'm going to crochet one side of my second square. So insert your hook. I like to create a slip knot. And I'm just doing my double crochet cluster. So I'm going to chain 3. And I'll make 2 more to create my first cluster. So that's the first half of my corner there. And then I'll go along this edge to create that first row. All right, so I'm gonna stop with just my first corner because now what we're going to do is connect this to the square that we did our whole sides. So I'm gonna pick a corner, doesn't matter which corner. Make sure that your right side is facing up. You want the backs to be facing together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to insert it into the corner from the bottom. So from the wrong side going towards the right side, insert my hook. I'm going to create a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. So that's your slip stitch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my second granny cluster in my corner. So yarn over and my 3 double crochets. So the corner is now complete on my granny square here. Now I'm going to insert my hook into the next space of my granny cluster on the one that I've completed all of the outside rows. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and again do a slip stitch. And then continue on doing my granny cluster in the next square on my current granny square that I'm working on. So yarn over, do my 3 double crochets to create that cluster. And like I said before, you could use any method to join these. I'm just doing a join as you go granny square to make my squares a little bit bigger for my client's wants. Same thing, I'm going to go to the next hole in there. I'm going to insert yarn over to create my slip stitch. And then again, create my granny cluster. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get all the way to the corner. Okay, so I am on my last stitch now. So I've done my last space here on the one that I've gone all the way around. I've done my slip stitch. So now on my current one, I am working into my corner. So I'm going to create the first half of my corner, doing my 3 double crochets to create my granny cluster. And then the last thing I'm going to do is in that one with all of the rows, I'm going to do a slip knot in that corner. And now I've connected the first sides using the join as you go method. Again, use whatever method works for you. If you want to sew them together, single crochet, slip stitch, whatever works for you is fine for the bag. So now what I'm going to do is go around this one and create my second row so that it matches my first. Looking at our bag pattern here, these are the two that I just did my join as you go method on. So now what I'm going to do is continue joining all of my squares together until it's all pieced together in this look here. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it, I'm going to join my sides to create the actual bag. You should now have all of your granny squares connected along the lines so everything's together, it's not going to fall apart. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold one side over the top, and you want to make sure that the right side of your bag, the one that will be facing the outside, is in the middle. We're going to sew it together and then it'll go inside out. So I'm going to pull this side over, match up my corners, and then this is the shape of the bag. And remember, these two corners are going to fold in. What I have gone ahead and done is put my stitch markers where I'm going to attach my side. So here's the one I folded over, and I'm going to be attaching it along these edges and as well as these ones. And then this is the bottom of my bag. So I make sure that I leave the top open so I know not to sew the top sides together. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are going to stay open, and that's where we'll attach the straps. I'm going to be using a slip stitch to attach the sides of my bag, but you are welcome to use whatever method you are comfortable with. The first thing I'm going to do is create my slip knot, and I'm going to attach it to the first part that I will be seaming together. Slip knot, and I'm going to attach that just with a chain. And then I will insert my hook once more into that same corner. I will insert it into the corner of the other square I'm going to be attaching it to. And then yarn over and slip stitch. Oops. And I'm going to continue doing this with every double crochet that I've made in my granny square. So go through the first one, go through the second square, yarn over, pull through, and slip stitch. So I'm going to continue doing this and making sure that I'm lined up so that it's all even until I get to the end. And remember, make sure that you keep the top of your bag open. So make sure that you have the middle V, and I like to keep the side open as I like a nice big opening in my bag. So go ahead and do that. You'll have to disconnect at one side and then reconnect on the other side of your bag. All right, so I have sewn together my sides where I put my stitch markers, and I left that top part open. So now I can flip it inside out so that it looks all nice, minus my ends that I have not sewn in yet. But there is a bag. And now all we need to do is add a border and our straps. To create the straps, you're going to have your bag facing the right side out. And what you're going to do is connect your yarn really anywhere you would like to along the front or the back sides here. And what we're going to be doing is creating a border. You're going to make a chain that's long enough for your strap, and then you'll connect it at the top of the other corner, and we'll go around and do the other side. And then once that's done, we'll come back and we'll add the same amount on the inside to create some thicker straps and to make the border the same. So the first thing you are going to do is connect your yarn really wherever you want. I like to start in that corner where my stitch marker was. I'm going to attach my yarn the same way I did before. So slip knot, and then I'm just going to attach it by chaining one. And now I'm going to do one single crochet into every one of my double crochets, and this will be my border. So I'm going to crochet one in that same hole I just attached my yarn, and then single crochet all the way around in every double crochet until I get to the corner, the top part of my granny square where that V starts. So this top stitch here, I'm going to stop there. Okay, so once you get to the corner stitch of that top V there, you're going to do one single crochet into the corner, and then you're going to chain for the length of your bag. Now, if you want a shorter bag, like a shoulder bag, then you can do a smaller amount of chains. If you want it to be down by your hip or even longer, do more. I like mine to be around my hip, so I'm going to be doing 100 chains. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook, and I'm using a weight 4 yarn. It's a little bit on the thinner side, so use whatever or do as many chains as you want for your desired length of your bag. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 100. I have made my 100 chains, and now what I'm going to do is make sure that they are straight. And then I'm going to attach my chains to the other corner. So this other V over here, the corner at the top, from the front, I'm going to attach my chains with one single crochet. So now here is my shoulder bag. Remember, it is going to stretch a little bit because of yarn and not leather, so you want to accommodate for that as well. Now I'm going to continue and single crochet into each double crochet all the way around until I reach the top corner of the other side. So I've reached my corner again on the other side. I've done one single crochet into that corner, and I'm going to chain the same amount I did on the other side. So I did 100, do whatever number you chose. So go ahead and do your chains. I've completed my 100 chains, so same thing, I'm going to make sure that my chain link here is straight, and I'm going to connect it with one single crochet onto the other corner and continue my single crochets until I meet back up with where I started. To connect my sides, I'm going to do a slip stitch into the first chain. Once you've made that slip stitch into the first single crochet, you're going to turn your bag, chain one, and then continue your single crochet until you reach your chain for your strap. Now that I'm at my strap, I'm going to put one single crochet into the connecting one, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in each of my 100 chains. I like to do it through the back loop, but you don't have to. So do one single crochet in every chain until you reach the other side. After you reach the other side with your single crochets on your chain, you're going to continue working your single crochets all the way around through the back loops of the other straps until you meet up with your starting point again. Once you get there, if you want to continue, you can turn it, chain one, and continue your single crochets, or you can take your yarn off and you can work in the middle of your bag. So what I would do is I would attach my yarn right in the middle, and then I'm going to do my single crochets all the way around. Once I get to my strap, I'm going to continue my single crochets through my strap, and you want to make sure that you have the same amount of rows of single crochet on the inside as you do the outside. I'll show you what this looks like once it's done. And here's the final bag. As you can see, I put 2 rows of single crochets on each strap to make them even. They're about 1.5 inches. I hope you enjoy your new sunflower bag. Like and subscribe for more.